So I'm going to wrap up 2021. We're done with the holiday decor, and I'm going to go ahead and end this year by sharing my favorite 2021 decor that you could definitely use going into the new year. Welcome back to my channel. 2022 is right around the corner, and we're gonna go ahead and start fresh after this. Before we do that, I totally want to refresh your guys' memory. Just want to share my favorite 2021 DIYs. I feel like there's a mix of everything in here. So because we're cleaning this up and starting fresh next year, this video is going to be sponsored by Blue Land. I will tell you guys a little bit about them later in the video. If you guys are new here, I want to welcome you. I would love for you guys to stick around. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button to become part of the DIY family, and of course hit your notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. Let's go ahead and enjoy the first DIY. This DIY is one of my most favorite that I've done, and I took inspiration from something I saw on Pinterest. So using some wooden blocks from Dollar Tree, I'm going to make a square, and I'm going to use 4 pieces for each side. I was going to make 3 of them, but I just decided to only make 1. After I glue them, I'm going to be using some staples just to make sure that it doesn't fall apart on me. You guys can also use crazy glue or whatever else. On the corners, I will be stapling them together as well, but I'm going to be doing something extra on there just to make sure that you don't see that gap in the corners. I'm going to make a second frame that's going to go on top of that one using 2 blocks for the sides and 5 blocks for the top and bottom. Doing the same thing, gluing and stapling. And then I do have these wooden planks from Dollar Tree. I do have them linked down in the description through Amazon. You'll get more bang for your buck. I'd rather go that way. And you guys can see here just kind of stapling away and then nailing them to the bag. So I also use some Dollar Tree caulk to cover up the like the gaps between the blocks, and it looks fine, but I just had a little issue when I started like staining my wood. Obviously the caulk is not going to stain, so you could totally see that it was there. So I just did a few different things. So right here what you're seeing is me distressing that wood, just beating up with some pliers, just making some creases or like cracks and all that. The stain that I'm using is a walnut colored stain, and you guys see there, you can see the little caulking prints. So then I also took some chalkboard paint, bless you Milani, and just went along those edges also. And then taking some popsicle sticks, I just cut some pieces to put on the corners.
Still got your pearls hanging by my bedside. Still got your lips on paper in a trash now. I never knew love could be so sweet. I never knew.
Alright, so I just added a little extra paint on there and then sanding that down to distress it. For my picture, I just printed out a picture that I wanted on my printer. This is just regular printer paper, and then I kind of cut it up a little bit. I didn't have Mod Podge, so I'm just using regular white glue from Dollar Tree, gluing the back onto the wood, and then I'm going to go ahead and add more glue to the top of that so it kind of sits still. Going into the new year, I'm really trying to declutter and just make a few sustainable lifestyle changes. All I see in here is plastic and dollar signs. So I decided to give Blue Land a try. Their products are effective and safe, made vegan and cruelty-free, and they're also EPA certified. I really like their reusable spray bottles that come in different colors and are clearly labeled for use. And instead of spending $5 to $6 on a regular cleaning product, all you need are these amazing smelling tablets that will run you about $2. That's 2 items at Dollar Tree for your crafts. It's really not that much. So all I had to do was fill my bottle with warm or or hot water you can use, and then drop the tablet right in, and I was cleaning within minutes. And also, you guys can tell I'm very pregnant, so with that, I truly appreciate having my house feeling clean and then also smelling clean without all the harsh chemicals. And just so you guys know, each tablet smells different and they all smell amazing. I really couldn't decide on my favorite. Blueland sent me the Clean Essentials kit, and that comes with the 3 cleaners and the foaming hand soap, and of course the reusable bottles. You also save 20% when you purchase a kit, and you get an extra 20% off your first kit when you use my code. Just make sure you follow the link in my description. Happy cleaning and Happy New Year! On this next planner, it's going to be super easy. I'm going to be using some textured spray paint, and I'm going to use one of these Dollar Tree bowls. I'm just going to go ahead and spray paint that and, you know, cover it right up. You guys can use whatever color. I really like the black. To make the top of it, I feel like this is one of my favorite ways to do this now because it saves money and it also saves material. So I just took a piece of foam board and then I traced the top of that bowl and I just cut it out, and then I cut a hole out where I'm going to stick the floral foam into. And on top of the floral foam, on top of the what is this? The foam board, I'm going to be gluing some river rocks from Dollar Tree. After everything's glued on there, I didn't show it, but I also did spray paint the top to cover any of the white that was showing through. After gluing the floral foam on there, I'm going to place that piece right on top. And as you can see, it's super easy to take in and out. So if you want to change it up, that's perfect too. And then just add whatever type of florals you want.
I can't believe it's already over.
This one is super easy, and it's just another method of adding texture that I decided to use. So I'm using one of these Dollar Tree bins, and then I'm using some textured knockdown. This is something that I use to add texture to my wall. So I just went ahead and spread it on there, or sprayed it on there, and then using a popsicle stick, I just kind of went over it to create that texture that you see there. And you don't have to completely cover it unless you want to. I just did it this way. I did let this dry completely overnight just to make sure that it wasn't gonna like come off after I painted or while painting. So I just mixed some regular house paint in white and this pewter gray from Apple Barrel, and you know, do the shade that you like. I kind of wanted just a lighter shade of gray, and just using a regular paintbrush, just paint it over, and you guys can see it has a really nice stone look. And after I painted it, I did use some twine to cover the handles.
Talk and fix whatever's broken. I always thought love like ours would last. I never knew love could pass. Tomorrow comes and you are not around. Feels uneasy. Oh, Emily, when did you fall right out of love? Oh, Emily, when did the magic stop for us?
Alright, so for this one, I'm reusing this piece that I had made before. It's 2 round pieces from Dollar Tree. They were like some wooden signs that I glued together and I topped with some liner. So I'm just going to keep that how it is. You guys kind of decide how you want to do it. That's how I did it. And then I'm also taking that Dollar Tree mirror. I went ahead and traced it because I want to make sure it's perfectly centered. And then it also helps me when aligning my little picks. These are like hors d'oeuvre picks from Dollar Tree. I don't remember how many come in a pack, but there's a lot. So I just started gluing those down, and you can see I'm doing the ones with the handle down first and then just kind of working my way around. And then whatever gaps are left, I'm going to glue the other ones with like the fork piece down.
Oh, but Emily, you are the part of me I feel. It will kill me.
So before I add the mirror on there, I just kind of placed that frame on top and spray painted it with some flat white spray paint, and then just brushed off any excess glue strands that are left over. And then using some very small beads, I'm going to attach those to the very top of my little fork, and then just put my mirror back on the frame, glue it down, and that's pretty much it.
Even close my door. Who said it'd be easy to be in love? Who said
This is another one where I took inspiration from something I saw on Pinterest, which is that faux window. I will be using some paint sticks. I do have these linked in the description on my Amazon storefront. So I'm just going to take 2 of the sticks and glue them together. And you guys can see I'm like gluing the opposite sides, like the top and the bottom opposite sides. So once those are glued, I'm going to take a couple more and just kind of cut them in half with my saw. I finally found a tool that's going to help me with cutting. So right there was just kind of a little wonky. So I am going to be gluing those pieces together and then attaching them to the sides of the first 2 paint sticks that I glued. You guys can kind of see there I'm making like a cross. Alright, so once all of my pieces are together and everything looks like a window, I am going to create like a frame using some Dollar Tree wooden blocks as well. And then at the end, like on one of the corners, there's going to be a piece that's going to be too big, so I do have to cut the wooden block. And I just use my saw just, you know, super carefully. And I did just glue those with some hot glue. You guys can use wood glue or crazy glue or whatever type of glue you feel like would work best. And to cover all of the cracks and all of the crevices, I'm using some Dollar Tree caulk. And I had the same issue with the stain not going over it, like as the same issue I had in that first DIY that I shared with you guys. But I also did just beat the heck out of this wood to distress it as much as I could. You guys already know I'm super pregnant. I have brain fog. I can't breathe. I can't catch my breath. So if you guys hear me struggling through this video, that is why. Alright, so beat the heck out of the wood and scratch it up. Do whatever you want with it. And then scrape off all the caulking and sand it down if you need. That's what I did just to make a smooth surface. And then I took that special walnut wood stain, which I actually really like. But as I was staining it, I didn't like how you could see all of that caulk. And I just try to cover it up different ways. So you guys can decide, you know, what look you want to go for. So I will show you guys how it looks with just like the wood look, and then also how it looks if you paint it with some white paint.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
This tea light rock tray is probably one of the easier ones. So just taking a Dollar Tree tray that I had already painted and repurposed from a different DIY. Also some tea lights from Dollar Tree. You can get this package for $1. And also some of the white rocks. And I think I just used the 1 pack. You guys can see here I just traced out the tea lights and then started gluing the rocks around where I traced. And then after that just started gluing them all over the place. And then do as many layers as you want. This makes it super easy to just take the tea lights in and out so you can replace them. And that is it. You know, I'm actually also thinking about the fact that I keep saying everything's $1. Well, things are still $1 at my Dollar Tree, but I know other places are $1.25 already, which I really have mixed feelings about. How do you feel about that?
There's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Dreamy, breezy, we go easy on our.
Here's a really cute tiki lantern that I made for my summer decor. Just using a bowl, a margarita glass, and one of those little canister tiki thingies. Just gluing everything together. I am using like liquid nails and some hot glue as well, just so that it just stays together really well, but it also adheres faster. And then taking some chalkboard spray paint, because I didn't have any other spray paint at this time. Just going to go ahead and do that. I do not like the shiny paints at all. I always go with like a flat or a matte spray paint. So yeah, after gluing, just spray paint. And then I'm going to be doing the same thing I did as the planter, the river rock planter. Just taking a piece of the foam board, gluing the rocks at the top, and then also just tracing the circle where I'm going to cut out. That's where your little tiki light's going to go into.
Mom?
Yes?
Remember the Santa?
Yeah!
Undercover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond all.
All right, for this one, I'm just reusing a Dollar Tree vase. This is one of the taller vases that they carry, and just repainting over what I had done before with some regular house paint. This one is from Walmart. I would definitely recommend the Bear paint from Home Depot though. And then here, I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of chalkboard paint and dip my hands into it with a glove and just splatter it on there. You guys can use a brush if you want, but I'm just using my fingers. And then I'm gonna glue little strips of leather around it, and that is all.
World in hands as we go. I wouldn't want it any other way, no. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of
All right, for this one, I'm using a canvas frame from Dollar Tree and then also some basket weaving reed that I have linked in my Amazon storefront. And I'm just gonna start gluing that around the edges. I sometimes cut it and then glue each side, but for this one, I just decided to glue one side and then kind of bend it and snap it at the corner and just keep gluing all around. That was probably like the easiest way to do it. And you guys will see I use my cutting machine to do this, but you don't have to. You can always just print out your design and then trace it with like a pencil or just not hand letter it, but like freehand it. It's super easy to do. I have tons of videos showing you guys how to do that type of stuff. So if you have questions or on where you can find those tips, let me know and I'll link the videos in the description or in your comment.
beyond gravel, beyond all. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the
I don't typically make wreaths that often. I don't like the big froofy frilly wreaths at all. But this one was pretty cool. So I have a medium-sized hula hoop from Dollar Tree, and then I found this enormous strand of greenery at Goodwill for $2.99. So this was enough to go around about 2 times. I am painting the hula hoop white. You can spray paint it if you need. I just used that paint that I had left over from that bin I made earlier. And then I just attached my greenery with some floral wire, and that is pretty much it.
Okay, so for this faux oil lamp, I'm taking 2 of these things from Dollar Tree. We got a vase and we got just like a jar or whatever you want to call it. And then also some Dollar Tree wire. And the wire, I'm just going to go ahead and, put several strands together and then kind of loop it around the top of the vase. And it's going to make a piece where you're going to make your handles. So just wrap it around as many times as you want. Make sure you make little loops on the sides. And then to make the handle, again, I just took that same wire, took several strands over and over and over, and then twisted them together really tightly, and then just attached it to those loops. Here's another super easy one that I saw, and I got inspiration from Pinterest. Again, super easy. I already said that. This is just a Dollar Tree, what's like a vase or just a jar? I don't know. Whatever it is. You guys can see it already has like a texture on it. So using my bare paint, just going to go ahead and cover that up. I love this paint. You guys can see how beautiful and thick and like high end it looks. So after that, I'm going to be taking my pewter gray and then also a paper towel. And I'm just going to dip the paper towel in there just a little bit. And then going on that wicker design that this jar already has, just kind of going on the outside part of it, just to give it even more texture. And then that's literally it, just to transform a simple vase into something a little bit more high-end. All it takes is just a little bit of paint and a little bit of patience. So this wreath I saw on Pinterest once again. It's from Hobby Lobby. I didn't realize that it was lamb's ear and eucalyptus. I'm just going to make mine with eucalyptus and some random greenery I had from Dollar Tree. I did start out with this Dollar Tree ring wreath, like a floral foam wreath. And then I also took some Dollar Tree rope and just started wrapping that right around. On the ends of the wreath though, you guys can see I just kind of cut it and then I added some glue and just attached part of my rope right in there, and that's where I'm going to make my handles, like where it's going to hang from. Alright, so this eucalyptus garland, these are from Dollar Tree, and I don't often see these. When I did see them, I picked up several just to make sure that I had some for the future. Usually if you guys see stuff like this, you definitely want to pick it up because it's going to be gone. And sometimes when it's gone, it's gone. I have not seen these at my Dollar Tree recently, so hopefully you guys have something that you could use that's similar. And then I'm also just using just some random little ferns from Dollar Tree as well. So this one has been sitting on my countertop since I made it. I'm using 3 of these cutting boards from Dollar Tree and then 2 of these little wooden storage things. I don't know what to call them. So yeah, here you go. You can use E6000 glue. You can use super glue. I just used hot glue and it has still been fine and it hasn't fallen apart on me or anything. So I'm basically just gonna glue everything together and then use my Dollar Tree utensils that are like on the smaller side. And this is super easy to just reach and grab when you're cooking. And like I said, this is my go-to. It's still sitting there, so I hope it lasts me quite a while. Alright, so super excited about this boho mirror dupe. I saw something online that was out of stock, and I think it was the Teenage Pottery Barn website or something like that. So what I did is took one of these wheel wreaths from Dollar Tree and then also a Dollar Tree mirror. I painted it white and then I took some of that liner you guys can find at Dollar Tree as well. Just kind of glued it onto the wheel here and just cut it out like around. So just make sure it's glued on there nicely and then trim it. After that, I'm going to glue the mirror right to the center, and then around the mirror, I'm going to use some white nautical rope from Dollar Tree. And then I am going to be doing a strand of beads, and these beads are from Amazon as well. I do have them linked in the description in my Amazon storefront. So just put enough to make like the ring around the what is it called? The rope. So to go around the outside of the mirror, I did take apart the nautical rope into pieces and just cut little strands of it. I glued it all around and then I just kind of brushed it out with a comb, and to make sure it wasn't like flimsy, I added some hairspray. I don't know what else you could use for that, but that's just what I did. Alright, I do have to say that I love this one, and I feel like it's super close to a wood-looking candle holder, even though I am using glass in it. So I'm taking 2 of these Dollar Tree wooden rounds, and then also one of these glasses from Dollar Tree. You guys can see there I kind of centered it right on the center, and I glued it down, and it really doesn't matter what type of glue you use, I don't think, because I am going to be using some caulk to like go around like that crease. And this is just from Dollar Tree. You guys can use any kind. I actually prefer using like the more quality one from like Home Depot or Lowe's, but this one's fine. And so once that's all covered up, at the very top of the wooden round, I am going to glue a thumbtack, and that's just to make sure that when I put my candle on top of it, it does stay on there. And just using some white paint, just painting it away, and using my same pewter gray paint that I've been using to distress, using either my brush or my paper towel to add that design on there. For this one, I am using some beads that came on a sign from Dollar Tree, and then also that I'm reusing this canvas frame, just the frame, not the canvas, from Dollar Tree as well. And then these little wooden plaques also come, or wooden planks, I'm sorry, they come in a pack of 6 at Dollar Tree, and I just added some pewter gray to the top, just painted it with that. I was using some apple barrel white paint, but I don't like it. It's super bad quality. It's really watery and it just does not work. So I went over it with my high-end home paint from Home Depot. And this is the Bear paint. Again, you guys will see me use this over and over and over. So much so that I got it in a gallon size to just use it on all my projects. And then I am using some twine that has like wire in it. That's from Dollar Tree. Just gonna go ahead and thread that right into my bead garland here, and I'm gonna attach it to the top of the frame. Okay, so first of all, I did reuse this home sign from another sign that I had that I kind of repurposed. Obviously, you won't find that at Dollar Tree, but you can always buy like the wooden letters individually, or you could paint them on there, or you know, whatever's easier for you. I'm just using what I have, and I like doing that. I like repurposing things, not necessarily always having to buy new stuff to make new things, and then just adding a little bit of greenery to it as well. For these wooden wall sconces, I'm using these little boxes from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use 2 for each wall sconce, and then I'm going to mark it right on the center, and I am going to be drilling a hole in the center of both of them and then gluing them together. Aside from gluing them, I will also be using my short staples to make sure these suckers do not fall apart on me. Sometimes it happens if you just use hot glue. So after doing that, I will be using my walnut stain, special walnut stain, and you know, you guys can use whatever color you want, but sometimes when there's like nice wood like this, the stain does go perfectly. I would also paint it, but you know, whatever suits you, whatever floats your boat. And then also using that reed that I used earlier, I'm going to be wrapping it around. And that's what I was talking about. I was like cutting the pieces like strand by strand, which I could have just glued it down and then snapped it at the corner and just kind of went around. But this is what I did for this one. And then I'm just going to add some florals from Dollar Tree.
Talking to each other, I know we feel the same about the situation, like we're stuck inside a game. Time to get out of this circle, yeah, we both carry a scar. Let's rewrite the part we're playing, time to cherish who we are. The only thing I ever wanted starts with us taking the chance, not like anything we've done before, yeah. Now it's time for something better, and time for us to follow our dreams. No, we can't stay. No.
Here's another sign that I am repurposing. So I had this one that had like the kitchen cutout thing that doesn't fit in my kitchen after we redid it. So I went ahead and took the kitchen part out, and I just left the frame and like the chicken wire look to it. I did have an extra piece of just what is this? It's like particle board. I don't really know. It's not really a piece of wood. Anyway, I went ahead and just painted that, and I didn't cover it completely with paint. I wanted it to look distressed, and then using my cutting machine, I did print out like my font and stuff for what I wanted it to say. Again, here's the thing you don't have to do. You don't have to have an expensive cutting machine. You can always just hand letter it or trace and then, you know, retrace it onto the board, and those are several options that you have in case you don't have a machine.
Come run away. Don't be afraid. We'll be okay. And I know it's the right thing to do. Let's break away. All colors will fade. Let's go our own way. Now's the time to decide what to do, and I'll stand by you. By you. I'll stand by you.
So I saved one of my most favorite for last, and this one is huge statement piece, and I did take some inspiration from this boho art I found on Pinterest. I found these enormous canvases at Ross. They're 36 by 48 inches. It came 3 in a pack, and look how stinking cheap they are. $12.99 for 3 pieces. Okay, these are huge. And so what I did, I just spray painted it with some flat spray paint. You could also just use a regular paint to go over it. I think that's what I should have done instead of the spray paint, but it's okay. It worked out anyways. And then I also had some wooden pieces left over from different projects that I purchased at Home Depot. I did just go ahead and cut those to size to frame my canvas, just cut them to size, and then I did mix some paint from Dollar Tree. It's just some deep brown acrylic paint. Added it with some water, just shook it up, and this is going to be used as a stain. Again, you guys, thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this video, even though I am completely struggling with my words, but you guys know that happens all the time. So yeah, just shaking that up and then using paper towels to just stain my wood. For my design, I did use my cutting machine to cut out all my vinyl pieces, but you could always find stuff on Amazon like big vinyl printouts. Again, you can paint it on there, you can draw it on there. I think it's super easy to find alternatives, but this is just what I did because I was able to do it that way, and this is the final look.
Mixed emotions, the first step is always hard when you walk out of the doorway, but that's just the place to start. The only thing I ever wanted starts with us taking the...
Alright guys, so we've made it to the end of the video once again. I think this might be the last video that I put out for the year. I'm not sure, maybe I'll have one more. But I really want to enjoy the holidays, and I want you guys to enjoy the holidays also without feeling the hustle and bustle of all of this. Truly appreciate you guys here. Truly appreciate your guys' support throughout this year and all the years that I've been doing this. I did have a difficult year this year, but we're hoping that next year is going to be a little bit better. And of course, we're going to be enjoying a new baby as well. So of course, you know, I kind of have to go with the flow on that as far as how much or how often I do post on this channel. With that said, if you guys did enjoy this video, I would love a huge thumbs up. You guys know those help me out a lot. They sure will help me out a lot once this baby comes. Leave me any of your comments or questions down below, and of course, please don't forget to subscribe, alright? Alright, if I don't see you before then, I hope you guys have an amazing new year, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Like anything we've done before, yeah. Now it's time for something better, and time for us to follow our dreams. No, we can't stay no more.